Hi, I'm Bill from CJ Pony Parts. Thanks to RideTech, we already have the rear suspension figured out for our Project 5030, so the next step is to actually get a rear end assembly to put into the car. With all the brand new shiny parts we've been showing, you might be wondering where the hell we dug this up. Well, this is an original 80 out of a Fox Body Mustang, and it's perfect for a build like this. We consider going with the 8-inch rear, but the stock 8 doesn't have a lot of upgrades as far as performance goes. We considered a 9-inch, but the 9-inch is going to be a little bit on the heavy side for what we're trying to do with the car. The 8.8 is the perfect rear to go with. There's lots of upgrades available for the internals. We get custom-made axles for our narrow rear that we're planning on doing. So for today's project, we're going to strip this rear down and get it ready to be test fit. As you can tell, this 8.8-inch rear was crudely cut out of a Fox Body Mustang and isn't the prettiest in its current condition, but it's perfect for what we're looking to do. Basically, none of this stuff is going to be necessary. We need just the housing itself. The control arms, quad shocks, brackets, the carrier, gears, everything is going to be removed so we can strip it down to just a bare housing, and we're going to use that to test fit in our Mustang before we start building. We're going to start by removing the carrier and the gears. As you can tell, the rear has obviously been apart at some point. The cover is already missing. Again, none of these things are important for what we're looking to do. Normally, to remove the axles, which would be the first part of removing this assembly, it's going to be a retaining bolt that would go right here. That's already missing, so the cross pin can simply be turned and pushed out. Now to remove the axles, or in our case axle, you're going to push them inward until you see a visible clip. This is your C-clip right here. You're going to pop that clip off and then we can remove the axle. Now we're going to remove the end caps for the carrier bearings. Remove the differential. Next, we're going to remove the pinion. Normally there'd be a nut holding the pinion in, but in the case of our rear, like I said, it's been apart before. It's actually just laying in there. You do want to make sure you hold on to this though, because you will want to use some of the shims that are with the pinion. Make it easier to set up your new rear. Next, we'll start removing the control arms. Now the quad shock. If you've never removed a quad shock on a Fox Body, this nut is welded on. You'll never get it off. You gotta take the bolt off from the inside. Now the upper. Now we can move on to the backing plate. It's held on by 4 retaining nuts located right here next to the axle tube. Now the backing plate's loose, we get the brake lines off. We'll start by retaining nut down here that holds the center bracket on, with the smaller retaining nuts on the side. One last bracket, this little clip here by the vent. Next, remove this weight, sometimes known as the dog bone, off of the carrier. These are actually designed for basically to dampen harmonics with the stock gears. Once you change gears, they really don't do anything. This, combined with the large pinion gear, tells me this rear probably was never even modified, so it's still a perfect choice for what we're doing. Now we're going to remove the bracket for the shock that was on the rear lower control arm. That's pretty much it for the teardown for the 8.8 for Project 5030. Now we're going to send this thing out, get it blasted. Once we get it back, we can start doing our test fits. Somewhere down the road, both these brackets will have to get cut off. They're going to be replaced with a bracket from RideTech for our 4-link rear suspension. We're also going to cut the edge of the axle tubes off. We're going to narrow this rear. We put it back together. We're going to go to the 9-inch housing ends. The reason for that is the C-clip the 8.8 uses tend to be a little bit weak. This clip goes in here and actually is what holds the axle in place. This clip fails, it can create disaster. We're planning on driving this car hard, so the bolt-on axle end is only going to increase the strength of our rear. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel for more updates on Project 5030.